Welcome everyone, it's Gray Shirt Guy rocking the gray shirt as always. It has been a couple weeks since I've last actually recorded an episode, and we're doing Atraxa, Praetor's Voice. A little before I get started, I had some issues where like my main monitor died, but it wasn't the monitor, it was actually the power supply for the monitor, so it has been a couple weeks since the last video I did recorded. There have been a lot of stuff happening lately with the new spoilers for the new set. I am not going to be buying boxes of the new Magic set until probably November, December timeframe, so don't expect a relatively recent launch. I decided to scale back my paper Magic. I've been playing a lot of World of Warcraft. New expansion came out for that, so I'm mostly going to be focusing on playing Magic Online as long as Magic Online sticks around and doesn't dissolve, as long as it sticks around. I don't know any rumors about it going away, but as long as Magic Online's still around and it's still relatively cheap to buy decks, I'm going to keep playing on here. And I'm going to be adding some new content. You should see it this week with World of Warcraft and some leveling series going on in there. And I'm going to still try to keep doing Commander at least once a week if I can help it. And when we get into the holidays, the schedule might shift. But anyways, let's get into Atraxa, Praetor's Voice. This is Deck Tech. This is basically just Atraxa Infect. It's not anything super unusual. You've probably seen a version of this somewhere around. This is the version I like to run. Let's get into it. Obviously, there's an MTGO Traders link in the description for how to see what is in the list, and you can change things around however you want to. Not sponsored, just I like to get my cards from there. So we got Atraxa, Praetor of Voice. Green, white, blue, black. I forget what that color combination is actually called. Legendary Creature, Angel, Horror. 4/4 Flying, Vigilance, Death Touch, Lifelink. At the beginning of your end step, Proliferate, which allows you to choose any number of permanents and or players with counters on them and give another counter of a kind they already have. So this would be, in this case, poison counters, and sometimes on my own creatures, additional +1/+1 or -1 counters, depending on what we're talking about. The lands, 36 various lands of interesting, basically just those 4 colors in a series of dual lands. I think I have 1 or 2 of each basic in there, and I still love this art from Chippy. This is one of my favorite island arts. Let's get into the actual rest of the 99. So we got Swords to Plowshare, Tainted Strike. It gives creature +1/+1, gains Infect, because not every creature in the deck has Infect. Most of them do, but not everyone does, and it's pretty interesting to just, close out. Vampiric Tutor, always a good tutor. Bird's Paradise, I still love this art. It's pretty good. Glistening Elf, a little bit of 1/1 Infect to get on there early. Soul Ring, of course. Blighted Agent, I love Blighted Agent. Corrupted Resolve, counters to target spell if its controller's poisons, and almost always they'll at least be pointed once. Cyclonic Rift, because it's a blue deck. Thrumming Bird, it's good Infect. Whenever it deals combat damage, well, it's not an Infect, but it allows me to proliferate when it does combat damage, so it allows me to spread out the Infect. Counterspell, because it's a blue deck. Demonic Tutor to try to, I'm trying to get very specific Infect cards if I don't have them in my hands. Phyresis, Enchanted Creature. Enchant Creature has Infect. Once again, I could also use this. I don't remember if this deck, we'll go through it. I don't remember if this deck has any ability to steal creatures, but I think it may or may not. I don't remember. But this is also to give my own creatures Infect if they don't have it. Plague Stinger, Flying and Infect. That's pretty good. Glistening Oil. Enchanted Creature, Infect. At the beginning of upkeep, put a -1/-1 counter Enchanted Creature. If it's put in the graveyard from the battlefield, return it to its owner's hand. This is actually good for just killing my opponent's 1/1 creatures. So I can place this on there. They'll survive for about a turn, and then it'll put a 1/1 counter on them, or -1/-1 counter. So I can use this to make my opponent's creatures weaker, while maybe giving them Infect. It's kind of a chance reward thing, either giving one of my own creatures Infect or giving it to them. So it's pretty good all around. Blade Mamba, I get to regenerate it, and it has Infect. Challenge Initiate. Challenge Initiate's pretty much good whenever you're trying to move -1/-1 counters around. Challenge Initiate's just the way to go. Farseek, Nature's Lore. Hapatra, because we're throwing out a bunch of -1/-1 counters. We're trying to get some more snakes. Throw it on there. Contagion's Class, once again, doing that little shenanigans there. Ironclaw Maul, because why not? Lightning Greaves. In this sort of situation, I think this very few equipment in the deck, and since there's very few equipment in the deck, I'm cool with using Lightning Greaves, because it does give Shroud. Or it gives Shroud instead of Hexproof, which the other one gives Hexproof, and so normally I like using the other one. But yeah, Lightning Greaves is pretty good. So we got Plague Mirror. I like the art on Plague Mirror. It's pretty sweet. We go Duel's Heritage, give some creatures double strike, as foretold. Just trying to get some free stuff in there. Steady Progress, get some proliferate. I do like the dudes. He's got like 4 sets of arms, or he has 4 arms, 2 sets of arms. We get Disallow. I don't know. Disallow to me whenever I see someone like, I'm going to do this. I'm like, no. Disallow that. Icarats, Phyrexian Arena, Phyrexian Crusader, Whisper Spectre. It's a pretty creepy, dude. Beast Within. I really like Beast Within. Cultivate. What is this? Viridian Corruptor. Enters the battlefield, destroy a target artifact. Try to get some artifact hit in there. Mortify and Putrefy. That was pretty sweet. Chromatic Lantern, which apparently is getting reprint. That's pretty nice. And then Tezzret's Gambit. Get some more Proliferate on there. A Viral Drake. Get some Infect Blue. Fuel for the Cause. Counter target spell and then Proliferate. Trying to get more counters on there. Hand of the Praetors. Some more Infect. And then creatures you control with Infect get +1/+1. It's overall pretty good. Triumph of the Hordes. Try to close the games out. Supreme Verdict is just kind of, destroy all the creatures. Like all the creatures being dead. Fathom Age gets whenever +1/+1 counter is put on the Fathom, so we get to evolve. And yeah. Master Biomancer, pretty good there. Whenever another creature you control enters the battlefield with a number of additional 1/1 counters equal to its power and as a mutant in addition to other types. So that's cool. Core Prowler, a little bit more Infect going on there. Corpse Curse, I'd like the art on this thing. This is pretty sweet. Crystalline Crawler. More +1/+1 counter moving around. Decimator Web. Target opponent loses 2 life, gets a poison counter, then puts the top 6 cards of their library into their graveyard. So, interesting. A little bit of a Grafted Exoskeleton. Definitely love the Grafted Exoskeleton. Deep Close Escape. When it enters battlefield, double the number of any kind of counter on any number of target permanent. So that's permanent, so not player. Corrupted Consciousness. This is where you do take control of opponent's creatures every once in a while and give them an effect. Exorbital Tie, whenever you cast a spell, you want to proliferate it, so that's pretty good. Reaper of Sheladrid. Infect is 2/5. When a source damage to Reaper, deals damage to Reaper, that source controller gets a poison counter, so you can use it as a big blocker. Skizzik, the Blight Dragon, flying Infect, gains haste till end turn and regenerates, so it's pretty sweet. Phyrexian Swarmlord. I love Phyrexian Swarmlord. I was able to close a couple games out with that. Spinebiter. Infect, you may have it assign its damage as though it weren't blocked, so you can just attack in. It might die, but you're still going to get 3 Infect counters on your opponent. Merciless Eviction, because I want to remove all the things from the game. Contagion Engine, because we're just trying to spread that blight. Elish Norn, why not? Because there's white in the deck, might as well have Elish Norn. And Sheladrid, Whispering One. Swamp Walk. Beginning of your upkeep, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, that player sacrifices a creature. And this is the promo art for Sheldred, so pretty good. And then Astral Cornucopia enters the battlefield with X charge counters, which X, play 3 different X. Choose a color, add 1 mana of that color for each charge counter on Astral Cornucopia. So if I play it for 3, I only get 1. If I play it for 6, I get 2. So it just depends on where in the game I am currently playing. Anyways, that will be the deck tech. That's 99 for Atraxa, Praetor's Voice. This is standard Infect. We're going to play one multiplayer game for this because this is not really... It's good in 1v1, and we'll see. I don't know how... It's a little harder when you're playing with Atraxa. A lot of people just instantly leave the game, and they don't want to play against Atraxa. So I'm only going to go for one multiplayer game. And yeah, so hope you enjoy, and see you around.